Hi. Wow. Okay. So it's been a few minutes. We're live on YouTube. Oh my goodness, we're just talking about all of the technical stuff. We've got the volume on the computer behind the camera, so there was this panicked moment there trying to get it all organized. I'm actually going to mute my laptop as well, and it is really nice to see everybody here. I'm just catching myself now on the live stream. Um, so, someone said they're a little worried about the technical difficulties. Well, what is a live stream without technical difficulties? I ask you. There's always something. So we figured it out. We had to cancel the one we had going and start up a new one. So we found this here. Thank you. And welcome. We are live from my basement, which had set up yesterday we're kind of dripping with Makers products, and actually behind the camera like you see me and I'm looking this way, but where I'm looking, we've just got literally every Maker's Clean product out there, as well as lots of different cleaning products, because I want to talk through a lot of things today and be able to answer your questions. So first, please flood the chat with a hello and tell me where you are from. I see we've got a visitor from the Villages in Florida. Anne says she missed me on Global yesterday. I was actually on today, um, but it's really nice to see you here in the chat. Indiana, Kentucky, BC. Oh my gosh, lovely. We've got Nova Scotia, another Florida, Ireland. Hi, Aoife. We've got Ohio. We've got our friend Justin from Toronto. Justin, it's nice to see you here. Tennessee, Michigan. Oh, can you all hear me? That's the other question. I am seeing comments saying that audio might be an issue, so please just throw a thumbs up if you can hear me and a thumbs down if you can't, and then we'll work on those audio issues. North Carolina, Georgia, Peachtree City, Georgia. That sounds yummy. Massachusetts. Oh my gosh, Calgary, Maryland, Kansas. Wow. Okay, Australia, Oregon, New Jersey, Los Angeles. Wow, Chicago. Okay, tons of comments. Great to see you. Okay, Uganda. Wow. Glencoe, Ontario, Washington State, Switzerland. Oh, the audio sounds difficult, like I'm underwater. I am most certainly not underwater, so we're going to have to work that out. It's blocky. Philippines, North Carolina. Oh, getting some thumbs down here about the audio sounding a little bit spotty or garbly. Whew, okay, so you know what? We're going to work on those audio issues. I've got my team behind me, so let me just check in and ask them. Is there anything we can do about the audio? No? Question mark? We've got a shrug. Oh, what are we thinking, folks? All right. Okay, so we're just getting a little camera adjustment here. And, oh, we've got a visitor from Oman. Wow. Okay. And WG says, thank you. The way you teach cleaning in your videos is so helpful and to the point. Well, some people would disagree and they say I'm quite talkative. And I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours. But you know what? Thank you for saying that. I did see a question about cleaning luxury vinyl flooring. And lucky for you, in this basement where I'm sitting, we have luxury vinyl flooring. And actually, we have a plank of it. So I will be bringing that out shortly and talking about that and answer your question. So just the way that things are working, if you do want to ask a question, you can go ahead, you can throw it in the chat. This is so weird. YouTube kind of came up with this new thing. You can add a reaction. You can support the channel. There's like a little dollar sign thing. I've seen this in other lives. We don't do it. I'm just pointing out it's there. It's like a tip thing. It's kind of weird, so don't worry about it. But yeah. All right. I want to get started with some of your questions. And then while I answer your questions, I'm also going to be talking about different products. Okay. So one question, Living Life Randomly says, how do you get hair dye out of a tub? Gosh, I get asked this question a lot. And here's the answer. You want to use some hydrogen peroxide, my friend. Where's my hydrogen peroxide? It's right here. So this bottle, your round bottle right here, contains a color erasing agent, if you will. That's what hydrogen peroxide does. So you can take this, put it on a paper towel. And the reason I say don't put it on a microfiber cloth is because you don't want the dye transfer, right? So we're going to use a disposable here. You'll just dab it onto the paper towel and you can start to buff away that stain. If it persists, you can soak the paper towel, drape it over the stain, cover it in some plastic wrap, and leave it there for up to 24 hours. Another thing that you can try that sometimes works is rubbing alcohol. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get my cleaning caddy a little closer. Maybe my lovely assistant / husband can get that for me. But rubbing alcohol would be another thing that you can try. You can just dab some on paper towel and rub it off, sort of erase it off. Hi, Chad. Do you want to introduce yourself
Hi,
to everybody?
My name is Chad.
Our special guest.
Hey, I'll be bringing things on and off camera.
Yeah, okay. Great intro, Chad. Thank you. All right, so I hope that answers your question about hair drying in the tub, and you should give that a try because it's a pretty easy thing to deal with. All right, so if you just give me a second here, I'm just checking in on something to make sure that we are technically set up and good to go. All right, so another question came in from Denise Wilson. I have a cast iron enameled sink, and I wonder if Barkeeper's Friend is too harsh to use on this sink. Okay, so the thing is with Barkeeper's Friend, it is super effective, but the thing is with cast iron, we have to be really careful with what we use on there because we don't want to ruin the finish. So the best thing that you can do, Denise, is you can always test in a hidden area first to see how it reacts. Now, it's an enameled sink, you say. I've had experiences where I've used Barkeeper's Friend on enameled cast iron, and then I've seen webbing after, which really upset me. It sort of ruined the enamel. And I'm okay to ruin my pot so that you don't have to ruin yours or your sink. So what I would recommend in this case is scaling down a little and trying something like, you wouldn't use this for a pot or a pan, but you can try something like a Dawn Power Wash or even just Dawn dish soap with a little bit of baking soda, which provides significantly less abrasion. But again, Denise, I always want you to test in the hidden area first. The other thing I can recommend is using a soft sponge, so nothing that's heavy duty. Chad, would you be able to grab me a scrub square, please? So you can use something like a Scotch-Brite non-scratch double-sided sponge, or you can use one of the Maker's Clean scrub squares. Thank you so much. This is the scrub square, so the reason why it's great, of course, is because it's machine washable. Which is so lovely for a sponge because sponges get so gross so fast you can't clean or sanitize them. You can go in the washing machine. It's got a scrubby texture on this side that's really going to help lift up any of that dirt that might be on the surface of the sink. This is fine as well for any other type of sink. The baking soda will provide a little bit of extra abrasion. The dish soap is going to help with the surfactant, kind of lift up any of the grease. You can use the softer side to kind of wipe, and then you can give it a good rinse. So that would be the technique that I would recommend that you use. All right, Sing It has a question. I've completely fallen off. Where do I start with an extremely dusty house? Such a good question. Because cleaning overwhelm can stop anyone dead in their tracks and make it feel like, where do I even begin? And that seems to be where you are. The overwhelm can be the hardest thing to get over, but here's where I want you to start. First of all, I don't want you to think that you have to do everything today. That is far too overwhelming. The first place I would start, normally in cleaning, we talk about starting from the top and working your way to the bottom. But in this case, because your house is so dusty and you haven't done it in a while, I want you to start from the bottom. I want you to vacuum first. And then what you're going to do is what I call the sandwich method. So you're going to start by vacuuming. Then you're going to do your regular top to bottom dusting. And then at the end, you're going to do your vacuuming again. And if even this feels too overwhelming, then don't even think about the whole house. I want you to use that technique when you're working room to room. Now, of course, whenever we talk about dusting, it's so important to remember our products, our tools, and our techniques. So we now know the technique. You're going to do the sandwich method where you're going to vacuum first and then you're going to work from top to bottom and then you're going to vacuum again at the end. From a product standpoint with dust, we don't have to think too hard about what product we're going to use because we're just dealing with dust. If we're encountering dirt or messes or stains or gloopy areas like what I have in front of me here. This is, by the way, marmalade and ketchup that I've pre-treated on some surfaces. It's at that point that we would think about using the appropriate product. But really, when I do my dusting, I always start with dry work just to get rid of any of that dust. If you dust wet, and actually I talked about it this morning when I was on Global, which is a TV show for those of you, a TV station for those of you in the States. I was on their morning show. If you dust a surface when it's wet, it kind of leaves like a sticky, streaky dust mark behind. But if you dust a surface when it's dry, you get rid of all the dust. Now, let's talk about tools. So the tools that you would want to use singing it would be, of course, your microfiber cloths. I mean, we have tons of them. This is our OG cloth. We have a beautiful blue color. We've got so many gorgeous colors. I will show them off. Sure. Thank you, Chad.
Oh,
okay.
Fumble already.
All right. So we've got a ton of gorgeous colors. We've got this yellow. We've got this blue. We've got a lovely purple Merlot. We've got this red cranberry. We've got this beautiful green as well. Colored schmullers, they all work the same. Then we've got, from a dusting standpoint, we have our maker's mop. You can put on your mop pad. We've got our 2 mop pads, the heavy duty mop pad as well as the everyday mop pad. You can throw that on. You can do your high dusting. Actually, Chad, maybe you want to demonstrate that while I'm talking.
Sure.
Sort of the high dusting in the corners and then even demonstrating like dusting the walls, sort of in the W pattern. You can also demonstrate, maybe you'll put on the heavy duty dust pad. Yeah. And then you can demonstrate doing the walls and then even the top of the picture frame. So Chad's going to show you how to do that in the background. Sing it. And then we've got our dusting mitt. So this is a new product. We have barely scratched the surface. By the way, this doesn't scratch any surfaces, but we've barely scratched the surface talking about this. This is very convenient for getting into those very strange and awkward spaces, in between stair spindles or getting into furniture in those little funny areas where you would perhaps buy like a disposable duster on a stick. You might know what I'm talking about. This is a really great alternative for that. So we've got these products. Now, the funny thing is we wanted to call this the Kermit, like Ker, K-E-R-Mitt, M-I-T-T. But we know that that's sort of a copyright infringement. But honestly, it's the color of Kermit the Frog. I mean, it's just perfect. And Chad's wearing the Kermit the Frog colored t-shirt. Anyway, I hope that answered your question about dusting. I know I'm giving long answers, but I just love giving long, detailed cleaning answers so that you don't have to waste your time doing any cleaning. All right, let us see here. I'm just having a look. Betsy says, how about tomato sauce on clothes? Canning isn't always kind. Oh my God, Betsy, you're an angel. You can your own tomatoes. I love that. But tomatoes really are quite an intense stain. So first things first, I'm just going to make a top line reco for you. Wear your crappiest clothes on the days that you're doing that, like where you're wearing an old beat up t-shirt. Thank you, Chad. Looks great. And that way you don't have to worry about getting those stains. And I say this from you as someone who genuinely ruins every piece of white clothing they own because they don't follow their own advice. The second thing I'll tell you is just get an apron, which is also a really great protector. But let's talk about your tomato stain. So the best thing that I think you can do for this is to use a color corrector stain remover. So there are different types of stain removers that you can get. You can get an enzyme-based stain remover. The one I really love is Puracy. I talk about it all the time. I swear by that. Like, I don't waver. Love that stuff. I've loved it for years. But the color corrector that I think you should use in this case is OxyClean. And the reason I love it, it works pretty much exactly like hydrogen peroxide. You want to test it in an area first if it's a shirt that you might be concerned about potentially ruining. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to put something underneath the shirt to catch the spread. Then you want to scrape off any of the tomato if it's still a wet stain. So you want to flatten and dry the stain as much as you can. Following that, you're going to treat the stain using OxyClean. So whether you're using the ready-to-use product that comes in a spray bottle, which I find really convenient, I just spritz it on the stain. You want to leave it for a period of time, and then you want to launder the garment in the I love cold water washing, but sometimes for tomato stain, you might get a little bit better results if you use warmer water. So you might want to think about doing that, Betsy, and that should get it out. Now, if it doesn't get it out the first time, I want you to give it a try again because sometimes stains are stubborn. They're stubborn. They don't like to come out the first time. So you got to deal with them, maybe once, twice, three times, but they will come out eventually. My good friend Zach, who runs the TikTok account Jeeves New York, which is Jeeves_NY, he and I talk about stains in very nerdy detail. And we went pretty deep into talking about stains one day, and he told me that someone brought in a mustard stained shirt, and he had to do 5 cycles of OxyClean treatment to get rid of the stain, but he persisted and he got it. All right, so I hope that answers your question. So my wonderful team is here with me today. We have Chad who hovers in every now and then, and let's be honest, I just make him clean things. We've got Lucas operating the computer, and then we have operating the computer. That sounds so 1980s. And then we have Ronit, who is monitoring comments. So even though I can see your comments on the computer, she's actually going through and texting me comments. So that's why I'm looking at my phone. I'm not checking Instagram while I'm here with you. Um, UI, I hope I said your name right. And if I didn't, please correct me in the comments. Says, how do I motivate us to clean a big house daily with kids? It's there's no one answer, there's no right answer, there's no one path. So you have to think about your family, the components of your family, and what motivates each person. And at the end of the day, you don't want to take all the cleaning all by yourself. It comes down to each person feeling that sense of responsibility to maintain their home. I think a lot of it comes down to pride of the home. So I think talking about that and instilling that as a family value is number one. I think another important thing is making people um, be responsible for their own areas around the house. So if it's your shoes, you put them away. If it's your laundry, you put them away. I've heard every kind of solution where at the end of the day, there's a big pickup, and if anything is left behind, it goes into a laundry basket, and that laundry basket of stuff disappears. So it teaches people, kids, pretty quickly that they have to put their stuff away where it belongs if they want to play with it or see it or use it again. So that's something else. That's sort of more of the punishment motivation style. Um, but it comes down to management styles. I remember learning about this in university. But another thing you can do is look at rewards. So if your family seems to be better motivated with rewards, you can find a reward system, with kids and figuring out how you can get them motivated to do what you need them to do by giving them rewards. I think if it's with your partner, just having an honest conversation about your load and balancing it out, what you need help with, what you can no longer do, what you are capable of doing, and also what the two of you are really good at. So there's no point of me doing the heavy lifting around the house, like moving the big things, because Chad is a foot bigger than me and, oh, I don't know, 80, 90 pounds heavier than I am. So he's got the muscle. I'm not going to struggle with that stuff. But when it comes to the smaller, finer details, that's the stuff that I'm better at. So you really have to work that out amongst yourselves. I hope that helps. As I said at the beginning, there really is no one solution, no perfect answer. We actually have a video on this. I don't know if we can link anything in the live chat. I'll kind of ask the team if they're able to do that. They can maybe find the video about ways to clean with your spouse or your family. So we'll try to get that in the link for you. John Lee, you donated 99 cents. Thank you so much. That was not necessary, but I really appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot. All right, Lovable Nikki says, is it safe to wash scrub squares with other microfiber cloths? I'm worried about the scouring side damaging the cloths. Yeah, you know what? It is safe. Thanks for bringing that up. It's totally safe. The best thing you can do with our products is make sure that you're rinsing them and just getting rid of any debris before you throw them in the washing machine and any excess product. But that aside, the scrubby part of the scrub spray won't interfere with any of the other cloths that we have. That's a great question, Nikki. Thank you. Irma says, what natural oils do you use for the kitchen countertop or all over spray? So, Irma, I'm going to assume here that what you're referring to are essential oils and what essential oils you think are safe or not safe. And I would say any essential oil that you like the standard stuff, is fine to use. Really, what it comes down to is the amount of essential oils that you're using and just being mindful of kids and pets. So let me give you a couple of examples. Like I used essential oils in mine for a long time, and then because my cat, who is now 14, is basically a retiree and lives in the kitchen and sits on the same chair under the kitchen table every day and gets quite miserable when I relocate her anywhere clean, I don't use essential oils anymore because I know that they're not good for her. But when she was more movable, I would move her out of the way. And similarly with my daughter, when she was little, I was careful about the essential oils that I used around her because, little kids, they're so sensitive. But as they get a little bit older, they can start to tolerate a little bit more. So the essential oils that I really like throwing in to my solutions when I do clean with them would be orange, lemon, rosemary, basil, eucalyptus, tea tree, lavender. Those are the ones that I can think of peppermint, ones that I can think of just off the top of my head. But in my next life, I want to be a professional developer. Like, I just love scents and perfumes and combining scents. It brings me a lot of joy. I really love it. So honestly, the world's your oyster. You can have so much fun with essential oils and cleaning. There aren't any that are going to damage your countertops. And let's just talk about a quick recipe that you can use for a natural stone countertop, like what you're talking about here. So in this bottle, by the way, this is our spray bottle that you can get at Maker's Clean right now. We have a couple of them, so I'll show you the spray bottle later, but just for reference. Oh, the light is crazy in here. It's so bright. How many ounces are spray bottles, guys? How many? 22 ounces. Okay. So we've got 22 ounces or 550 mils. So that's just over 2 cups. So what I would do is I would fill this 3/4 of the way. So 1.5 cups with water. I would add a quarter cup of, is that 3/4 of the way? I'm so bad at math, especially on the fly. Just roll with me here. I would fill the remainder up with rubbing alcohol. So why do I like rubbing alcohol for this? Because rubbing alcohol is fast drying, and it can also help to just, get rid of any excess bacteria, germs. It's not gonna fully disinfect your home, but it's a pretty powerful disinfectant when we're adding it in as compared to just using water. And then the other thing that I'll add in, Chad, do you mind grabbing the dish soap for me, please? Is the dish soap. So just add like a half teaspoon of dish soap. Too much dish soap, and you're going to have an incredible amount of sudsing and stickiness, and you really don't want that. So that's going to be your solution. And from there, Irma, you can just add between 5 and 10 drops of your favorite essential oil. All right, and every time you use it, give it a nice little shake. Good to go. We have been live for just about 25 minutes right now. So for those of us who are joining, I just want to welcome you. And for those of you who have been with us, I just want to thank you. If you're new to this live stream, feel free to drop your name in the chat, say hello, ask your questions. Ramit is working on the comment section, so she's trying to respond back. If you have any specific requests for links or products, she can get that for you. We may have a product carousel somewhere. I'm not quite sure if they figured out how to do that, but we have a product carousel available. All of our products are available, by the way, at makersclean.com. You can check that out. We are having a sale over at Makers Clean right now on this lovely live stream. We've got some really good prices on there, so you can check out makersclean.com. And according to my little sheet here, it says that the sale is going to be running until 6 p.m. Okay? And also, if you're not on the Makers Clean email list, I really recommend you get yourself on there. That's where we do exclusive product drops. If you're the first to know about new products, to get first access to them. Sometimes they sell out really quickly, like our kitchen cloths, our napkins. Oh my gosh, we under ordered those. But yeah, you get that. You get access to sales, email list only sales. This is a really good thing to be on. You can just go to makersclean.com. You can add yourself to the email list there. Actually, while I'm here, I might as well tell you what is on sale right now so you can go check it out. We've got the original Makers cleaning cloth bulk pack. So, Chad, can you just give me a quick description of what that entails? Or Lucas?
25.
25 general purpose cloths. So, 25. Oh, Ronit is pointing at something.
Right here.
Oh, these. Okay. So it's these colors are brand new 2023 colors. You get 25 of these, and that is 40% off. That is a killer deal. Are you guys sure you want to do such a good sale? Okay. I guess they decided this ahead of time. All right. The Maker's Mop, which is what Chad was using earlier and is back there, is Chad can demo it. My head is blocking it. 25% off. Got our whole home cleaning bundle for 30% off. Wow, that's a great deal. The original Makers Cleaning Products 2023 Collection 5-pack, which includes all of these gorgeous colors. 30% off. We've got our large space kit for 25% off. Our luxury face cloths. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk about these. These are 20% off. Our kitchen cleaning kit is 25% off, and our bathrobe is 20% off. Do you want to put on a bathrobe and model it? I mean, we're close here, but
I'm gonna go do that. I'll do that if you stand up and answer the question about microfiber cloths and do a demo of the microfiber.
I will get to that. You go put on that.
I'll go
bathrobe.
dress up in a bathrobe.
Okay, thanks. All right, so here's another question that comes from Stump. Any advice on keeping a house with autistic children? We just recently found out our son is autistic. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and also in college, I'm overwhelmed, and it's like I can't keep up. He's 3. Oh, great. First of all, you have to give yourself some grace here. So I actually put up a post this morning on Instagram and TikTok, my space, by the way, and it said, I heard it this morning while I was listening to the podcast. The quote was, "When you're juggling balls, you have to know which ones are rubber and which ones are glass." And I thought that was so interesting because it can be so hard for us to prioritize, right? You've got a house you clean, school, you've got a son that has some additional needs. How do you manage? And I think what it comes down to is understanding that there are periods of time in your life where your house is gonna be clean and beautiful, and there are periods of time in your life where your house is gonna be upside down, and just accepting that. And maybe you're in that place right now. And I know that a messy house can affect how you feel and your emotional well-being, and then it's at that point where I would say, think about your schedule, think about your time, and think about what we say in Clean My Space lingo, your MIAs are, your most important areas. Focus on those. So if having a clean kitchen, having a clean bathroom, having a clean front entryway are priorities to you, then spend your time cleaning those. Don't worry about the other things until you have some time. And then if someone offers to help you, say, a parent or a friend, you can even say to them, it would mean so much to me if you could just help me clean for an hour. Like, people are willing to help, and I'm positive that if you asked for help in a genuine way, you could get it. But really, you have to focus on your studies, you have to focus on your child, and that's that. And I just, give yourself some grace. I hope that that's a useful answer for you. I think that that's fair and reasonable. Oh, our model has arrived. Straight from Paris Fashion Week, we have Chad Reynolds wearing our Maker's Clean bathrobe. Wow, Chad. So what size are you wearing here, Chad?
This is the large X large.
All right, and where does it hit you? It hits you just below the knees. You want to stand on the thing there? Like stand on the ledge so people can Well, I don't know if that really helps. There we are. So Chad, just for reference, is 6'4", and that's where it falls on him. So that is the large XL, and then I wear the small medium. So yeah, what do we love about this bathrobe, Chad?
You don't need a towel. You basically just get out of the shower and you put this on. That's all you need. And then it dries super quick, so you just end up wearing a comfy robe for the rest of the time.
Yeah, so it's a large waffle weave pocket. It's very luxurious. We basically had lots of great experiences at spas where we felt like the bathrobes were super luxe and fun to be in, and everyone wants to steal them. And we're like, we know textiles. Why don't we make our own spa-like bathrobe? So here it is, but we upgraded it a little bit so that it's got that beautiful waffle weave texture. It feels really comfortable on the skin. It doesn't feel like a general purpose microfiber cloth. It feels like soft and absorbent material. It dries really quick. So after a shower or a bath, you can just hang it up. And unlike a terry towel that takes ages to dry and can sometimes get smelly, this dries really quick. And on the topic of it being smelly, because it's microfiber, it doesn't get smelly. So that's really nice. Joanne Case says, how often do I wash the scrubbies? I'm obsessed. Okay. So the scrub squares, thank you, Chad. Let me just show you. This is what Joanne's talking about. These are our scrub squares. We're really, really proud of this product. We love it. And it was birthed because we all find sponges really gross. All like the team who's all in here with me. When we talk about product development and like what we would want, this is what we decided. We also decided on this dark color because we didn't want stains to show up again, because that visual kind of makes things look a little bit more gross. So how often to wash the scrubbies? So Joanne, because I have, a pretty decent supply of them, I have about 6 in rotation, which is basically 2 of the 3 packs. Simple girl math over here. I change mine out every day. So I finish using it at the end of the day. I hang it on the sink to dry, and then I toss it into my wash bin for all of my microfiber cloths the next morning, and I just use a fresh one. For me, that just feels good, but you can stretch it a couple of days. I think for any sponge, the name of the game is making sure that you rinse it well after you use it, and then you hang it to dry. All right. Blessed Beyond the Mess. Oh, what a good name. Love that. Says, my mother-in-law is always giving me stuff. She gives us so much stuff that it's overwhelming. Some of the stuff is very useful. Most of it is clutter. I have tried to tell her no, but she doesn't listen. That's hard. Obviously, her mother-in-law is trying. Her love language must be gifts. So she's trying to show that to you, and I think that that's really nice. It's really hard when you keep receiving things that you don't need. I appreciate that you've tried to have a conversation with her about it, and we don't know her, we don't know you. All I can say is, setting boundaries in your life is hard, especially when it's someone who's as close as a mother-in-law. If you're able to try again and just say, listen, I so appreciate you thinking of me. Would you be willing to just FaceTime me or text me a picture of the item before you buy it for me, just so I can let you know if I already have one, or if I already need it, or if I don't need it? And if that doesn't work, the next thing you can do is just graciously accept it and put it in a donation bin, or find its next highest and best use. When we let clutter build up in our home, oh, it's the worst. And especially when it's that guilt-ridden clutter. Actually, we have a 90 days of decluttering course that I can link for you, or not me, but Ronit and or Lucas can find where that course is, and link that for you if that might be helpful. Because I do talk about emotional clutter and how to deal with those difficult clutter-based conversations with people, because it's something that I too have experienced. And I think a lot of us have trouble decluttering because it can be associated with guilt or shame, which are like really yucky feelings to walk around with. So your question brings up a really important point, and I hope that gave you some meaning, or gave you some information. I hope that made that helpful. Okay, Hawa has a question. I wake up early at 5 a.m. for studying before going to work. I work late until 11 and I'm parenting 4 kids. By that time, I'm exhausted to mop, do the dishes, organization, etc. Any help on routine? Oh my God, lady, give yourself a pat on the back. Like you're raising 4 kids and studying and working until 11. You're a superwoman. Like I don't, I mean, what advice can I possibly give you? I think you're doing your best. You've got a lot on your plate. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier to Bree, and even a little bit earlier, to what I was saying to Sing It. You've got to give yourself some grace here. You're in a tough time in your life in terms of schedule and management. Like that sounds crazy. So if you have 4 kids, I'm not sure how old they are, but it might be time to say to them, hey, I need you to pitch in and you have some new responsibilities. Um, I know that when I model cleaning at home, Riley, who's my daughter, she's 5, she wants to help. But if I just say to her, Riley, clean your room, or Riley, do this, she doesn't want to do it. So I think if you model and you show the kids how to do it, then you might say to them, I would really love if you could help me with this, and, come up with sort of a reward structure. Like maybe you say to them, I'll give you the Wi-Fi password if X, Y, and Z are done. Or so I'm in Canada, so I say Z, but I know you guys say in the States say Z. So I'm sorry if my Canadian comes out. But you can think about things like that in terms of how you can reward them for helping you, because you also need help, and how are you supposed to carry the world on your shoulders? Just look in the mirror and tell yourself you've done a good job today. Honestly, I hope you take that advice. Like, man, you've got a lot on your plate. All right, Kristen DeMarco says, hi Melissa and Chad, can you please tell me how to disinfect rubber cleaning gloves, for instance, after using them to clean the bathroom? Fantastic question. So whenever I hear people say disinfect, I always want to remind you that disinfection is required in certain circumstances. It's not required in all circumstances. Soap and water is generally sufficient to deal with the majority of stuff that you come across in your house. Now, if someone's sick, or if someone has a suppressed immune system, you might have to rely heavier on disinfectants, but generally speaking, soap and water will work. So when it comes to your gloves, this is how I take my gloves off. Okay, so what I do is I finish my cleaning, and yes, I do have separate for kitchen and bathroom. Okay, so I take the gloves off. So I finish my cleaning and I wash my hands with dish soap. So I do like the whole happy birthday 2 times, and I'm really scrubbing really well, and I'm getting into all the nooks and crannies. And then I rinse. And guess what? You can crank the water real hot when you're wearing rubber gloves. So you just like hot water, soap, and you like go at it. Then you kind of pull off the gloves by the fingers on one side, and then I sort of use the sleeve of the other glove and I make like a little pincer, and I pull off the other gloves and then I just lay them to drip dry on the edge of the sink. So that's all I do. I don't see a need to disinfect them. My concern, if you use a disinfectant on a rubber glove, that the rubber will get degraded, or the material of the glove will get degraded if you're using a product that's too harsh. All right. Arlet says, is it possible to repel dust in your home? So when I was on TV this morning, that was actually one of the TikTok hacks that I debunked. Okay, because we saw a hack. I saw a hack on TikTok and I sent it to the producer, and it was basically someone who used fabric softener and water, dumped a microfiber cloth into that solution, and then wiped a surface with that solution, a dirty surface, and said that it repelled dust. Well, let's just talk about fabric softener. Fabric softener is sort of like hair conditioner or hand cream. So if you mix it with water, it's going to leave kind of a slip or a streak on your surface. And if you do that over time, it's going to build up. It doesn't really repel dust. Dust exists because we exist. We wear clothes, we sneeze, we have skin, we are shedding all the time. So by you walking to your kitchen to get a snack, think about everything that's coming off of your body. And all of that, the tiny little micro shreds of fabric, your dead skin cells, the pet dander, the dirt from outside, all of that stuff clumps together, forms a matrix that we call dust. Okay. And dust is flying around all the time. You can't get rid of it by repelling it. You can get rid of it by vacuuming. And that's the bottom line. So, you know me, I'm a huge Dyson fan, love a good Dyson vacuum. So, like we talked about earlier with the sandwich method, you want to do your vacuuming first, then you can do your dusting with your regular, microfiber cloths, whatever tools that you have on hand, and then you can vacuum again. The way to repel dust is to take care of your HVAC, use an air purifier, and vacuum regularly. There is no product that's going to do that for you. Oh, it's so unfortunate because so many people talk about dust repellents on TikTok. Nope. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a good one. Silvers 7139 Bloobs. Interesting name. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Says, how do you get over cleaning fatigue when your partner is unmotivated? How do you have a sustainable drive if your partner is struggling? Oh my God, I hope Chad didn't write this about me. That's embarrassing. This hits home. Like, I feel like sometimes I feel this way about Chad, and I feel like sometimes he feels this way about me. So I can totally relate. A sustainable drive if your partner is struggling. Again, it just comes down to that conversation and coming up with an agreement about what's fair and what needs to be done. I don't like having these conversations because they can be uncomfortable, but I find a frank conversation, lead with kindness, set boundaries, come up with agreements, and stay accountable. Those are the things that end up working. But it is really hard for you to get over cleaning fatigue because you're doing double duty, right? And how do you get over that without experiencing resentment? It's tough. You can also dial back your expectations on yourself for now while your partner's going through a tough time. You can say to yourself, like, I only have so much in me. I can only give so much. This is my bucket. This is how much I have available. And I'm not going to go into a deficit here. I'm just going to do what I can do because, your partner's needs are one thing, but don't forget about your own needs. So I hope that helps you and keep in mind. I want to, again, just remind people that if you are interested in any of the Makers Clean products, I'd love for you to check out makersclean.com, which is our website. We've got a whole bunch of sales going today that are going to be stopping at 6 p.m. And of course, if you want to get regularly informed of our sales, the newsletter is the best place to get that information. You can sign up for that at makersclean.com. So again, we've got the original Makers Cleaning Cloth bulk pack available at 40% off. That is 25 of our 2023 original microfiber cloths. So sorry for bending down. It's these guys. Our Makers Mop is 25% off. Our whole home cleaning kit bundle is 30% off. We've got our original Makers Cleaning Cloth 2023 5-pack, which is this, at 30% off, which is awesome. Our large space kit, 25% off. Luxury face cloth, 20% off. Kitchen cleaning kit, 25% off. And our bathrobe at 20% off. All right. Okay. We've got so many awesome questions, so I want to make sure I'm getting through all of them. All right. Shelly Sanford says, help. What can I use for a very extra dirty carpet? My fur baby is 13 years old, and at times she has missed her pee pads. Help. Oh yeah, I get that. So essentially what Shelly is saying is there are some pee stains on a carpet from a dog. How do I get rid of them? So there are a few different directions we can take here, but I feel like for such, if it's an extra dirty carpet, what I would recommend is something like a Bissell Crosswave, which is one of those carpet cleaning vacuums. So you buy the Bissell solution, you fill the little bucket with water, you add the solution, you plug in the vacuum, you run it. it heats up the water and it heats up the solution. The first thing that you do is you do some passes pressing a button and it sprays out the solution. Then you're going to leave it for a few minutes and then you're going to run the vacuum again. And this time you're going to press a different button and activate the suction function on the vacuum. And what that will do is suction up all of the liquid that you sprayed on and treated the carpet with. And I find that works really well. We used to have a cat that would pee on our carpet, and that is what we used to solve that problem. The other thing you can look at is an enzyme cleaner that is specifically designed to get rid of pet odors. This is something that you would want to do on an ongoing basis whenever the dog is missing the pee pad. If there's, a way going forward that you can line the floor with some plastic, so you can sort of put like maybe a garbage bag where the pee pad is supposed to be, or on an area where the dog repeatedly visits where it's not supposed to, that could also help. You can also put this under the rug. So there are just a few different options that you can explore there. But Shelly, I hope that helps. Deborah, this is a great question. Deborah Sweat says, I've always wondered what is so special about microfiber cloths. I still use old towels. Oh my gosh. Well, Deborah, you got to try microfiber. So I'll tell you the whole reason why I became so committed to this cause. I started a cleaning business in 2006 called Clean My Space here in Toronto, where I live. And I went to a janitorial supply company and I said to them, just set me up with what I need. And the lady was like, you need a bag of old rags, which was basically like cut up towels. You need this, you need this, you need this. And I said, okay. So I went on my way and I did my cleaning. And the old rags, they were okay. But I found that I was having to work hard because the rags weren't absorbent. They weren't holding on to liquid. They were leaving streaks and lint behind. They weren't multi-purpose. Like I couldn't use them on a surface and on glass. They would get wet really quick, so they would soak through quickly, and I'd have to go through a lot of them at cleaning. They would get smelly, they would get stained. And then she suggested to me, we had a conversation about this, and she said, why don't you try these microfiber cloths and tell me what you think? And remember, this was a janitorial supply company, so she gave me like top line microfiber cloths, and I tried them and I was like, they cut my cleaning time in half. My results skyrocketed. And that's why when I started making these YouTube videos, I talked about microfiber cloths from the get-go because I hate cleaning to this day. And in the cleaning business, let alone my own home, time is money, right? And if I'm in the cleaning business and I can crank out 3 cleanings a day instead of 2 because my tools are allowing me to do that, then of course I want to do that. And that is why when I started talking about microfiber cloths and our audience on YouTube here would say, well, where do I get them? I'd be like, I don't know. I got mine at a janitorial supply company. I don't know what to tell you. And like you could get them at the dollar store or at a big box store, but the quality was incomparable to the stuff that I was using from the janitorial supply company. So that's why, we started to source this stuff. And in and around 2014 or so, that's when we started selling our own because we just got sick and tired of telling people, sorry, can't help you. And it's blossomed into makers. So Deborah, I hope that answers your question. And I really hope that you give it a try because it is leaps and bounds ahead of cleaning with old towels. All right, just going to check in with the team. Everything good on the back end, guys? Yeah? Okay, great. Sarah sent in a great question. And for all of you, I hope you're enjoying this. And, let us know in the comments what you're thinking. And, if you have any other questions about microfiber cloths, questions about cleaning, questions about my sweatshirt, whatever it is that you want to know about, I'm here. I'm here until 2 p.m. Eastern to answer your question. So Sarah says, I have a large stain of acidic toilet bowl cleaner on my stainless steel sink. Oh, because I own a cleaning business and I refill the bottles in the sink. What can I use to get rid of it? Sarah, you can't. You can't. The acid forever changed the stainless steel. I'm so sorry about that. That sucks. Sorry. I wish there was a better answer. One time I went to a client's home. We're both in the cleaning business, you and I. So one time I went to a client's home and they said, "Can you fix this?" And they pointed to their stainless steel fridge. And wouldn't you believe that there were orange kind of bleach stains from the previous cleaner who used a bleach cleaner on her refrigerator, on this person's refrigerator. It was ruined. So, I mean, you could try a stainless steel polish and see if that helps. You know, you could try something like Peek, Peek. You could try Wyman's. They might have something that you can try for a stainless steel polish, and you can see if that works. But I don't know. A big part of me, like my gut instinct, is telling me probably not. Kelly Green says, "Is this a good non-toxic multi-purpose cleaner? In a 32-ounce spray bottle, 1 cup of rubbing alcohol, followed by 2/3 cup of white vinegar, and then top the bottle off with water." Yeah, so vinegar, rubbing alcohol, water would be okay. The one thing I would say is you're probably using too much product. I think you could probably get away with I would probably use a 1/2 cup of each and the rest water. I think that would be a good solution. And I'm curious, Kelly, what you're using that for. Can you just, like, you're saying it's a multi-purpose cleaner. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I don't like that for a multi-purpose cleaner because vinegar is not the best choice for multi-purpose. Vinegar, this what you're saying here is probably good for like a laminate floor, MDF wood, because it'll dry quickly. Maybe even, yeah, but I don't really think that's great. So you know what? Like this is what I use for a multi-purpose cleaner. I use dish soap and water, like a little tiny squirt of dish soap, 1/2 teaspoon, the rest of it water. It works so well. I don't see a reason to even use what you're suggesting here. Like the vinegar, I think is really good for glass with water. I think the rubbing alcohol is not necessary unless you need a fast dry on your surface. Elizabeth says, "Hi, Melissa. Do you have any suggestions on how to clean a matte black kitchen faucet?" Yeah, I do, because I have a matte black bathroom faucet. So I know what you're talking about. So, Elizabeth, the first thing I want you to think about is that you're going to get hard water stains on these if it sits wet for any period of time. So, you want to make sure that you are using a microfiber cloth to wipe the sink regularly, just to get rid of any of that excess kind of water that's hanging around, because those water marks can build up and they can build up fast. It's a situation where you want to do trial and error. So you don't want to use anything scratchy or abrasive. So you want to use, like, you could use a scrub square, but I don't even think you need to. I think you could just use a microfiber cloth like this. I would test some vinegar on it and I would see how the vinegar does. Okay. I've had good experiences, but remember, not all matte black faucets are created equal. So what works for mine might not necessarily work for yours. What you doing there, Chad?
I'm just gonna dust, actually.
Okay. So I would say try some vinegar first with a little bit of dish soap, and that could probably give you some really good results. And remember, just keep the area dry on a regular basis. Brooke Nicole says, "Any tips for organizing while you move and how to keep the new house organized?" Congratulations on your move. That's a great question. So when you move, the best thing you can do is start by decluttering. That can feel overwhelming, but at the same time, getting rid of clutter is going to mean that you have to pack less. It can also free up some cash for you and make the move less expensive, right? So before you start packing things and trying to reorganize, it's just a good general principle when it comes to organization. Just try and get rid of the things that you don't need. So that's tip number 1. Once you've done that, you want to pack things up by room, right? So get some boxes, label them so that you know what room they come from and what room they're going to. You really get a clean slate when you move into a new home. So that is really exciting, and it is totally your choice in terms of how you want to set it up and organize it. It really depends on your lifestyle and your needs. I'm not a fan of over containerizing and over labeling. I just think people waste time and money on that. I think the very best thing you can do is pare down the stuff that you have and then hold on very strong to the one in, one out policy. So if you bring a new something in, you get rid of an old something. So that way you're not building tons of clutter in your home. To be intentional with your buys. So, if you're bringing something into the house, it's not just, oh, I saw it at Dollar Tree and it was cute, or, oh, I did a Target run and look at this little thing that I got. Like, that's how clutter starts to add up, right? Or we are scrolling on Instagram and we see a little ad and we click on it and, oh my God, then you got this thing and it's in your house and you don't really need it. So really start questioning what you're buying. And then when it comes to setting up, and keeping the new house organized, it's really about reducing the clutter. Oh, the other thing you can try is Ohio, only handle it once. So when anything comes into the new house, whether it's mail, a purse, anything like that, when you pick it up and bring it in, you only handle it once. So it goes right where it belongs so that clutter doesn't build up. I hope that helps. I'm just going to take a little pause from questions here. Chad, why don't you come in as our special guest, because you are walking around. I feel like you've got some stuff to say. What would you like to talk about?
I was told to put back the robe on. So the robe is back on. And I was asked because, was that question sent through to Melissa?
No, it was sent through to you. Can you just sort of open it up and show us the overlay? Someone was just wondering about the sizing and the excess material before you wrapped it up.
Yeah.
So maybe just hold it up.
Like just like for free? Just do that for free? Just show this off for free?
I think
yes.
This
okay.
is a live stream here.
Maybe you'll get a tip, Chad.
All right. Tips accepted. There you go. It's big. I could also enclose Melissa in it, but it is. It overlaps quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lovely robe. Really, we've gifted a few of them. People are crazy about them. Yeah, they love our towels too. Yeah, so if you're thinking about the robe, honestly, you can't go wrong. Chad, did you want to talk through any of the products specifically? Would you maybe like to do some demos, or is there?
Why don't you talk through this and I'll do it? Why don't I clean all the stuff and you can tell me how to do it and which cloths we should be using.
All right, so
and we have other surfaces.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great questions, but I do want to take a little pause and go through a few things here and give you some demos. So on the far left, we have a plank of luxury vinyl flooring. This is what we have in our basement. It's what we're sitting and standing on right now. And on each surface, you'll see that I have smeared marmalade and ketchup. So we're going to talk about how to get rid of like deep set stains, and then we're just going to talk about general maintenance. Next up, we have a slab of hardwood. This is what we have upstairs. So again, we've got our ketchup, we've got our marmalade. This is just a piece of MDF. I think this is a shelf from like an IKEA piece of furniture that you have in your office.
Yep.
And then this is a tile with the same stain. Also, it's quite dirty. This is the tile that we have in our upstairs bathroom. Chad just smelled the marmalade. Just another day at the office over here, folks. All right, so thank you, Chad. So as I've talked up quite a bit, this is my very favorite spray. It's my go-to. It's what we use in the house. We probably refill this bottle twice a week. By the way, our spray bottles, I just have to say, we are obsessed with them. And people have been asking us for spray bottles for so long. And, spray bottles are a hard thing to find, like hard, good quality product to find. The really challenging thing about a spray bottle for long-term use is, first of all, the quality of the body itself. So this is quite durable plastic. And the next thing is the quality of the trigger and the nozzle, because if you've ever purchased a cheap spray bottle, you'll notice that pretty quickly they start to leak. Or the nozzle gets, or the sprayer trigger gets stuck. So you need something that is really built to last. That's why we were very excited when we found these. And can you also grab the mini, Chad, and we can show like what's so cool about the mini?
Oh,
Yeah, it's just behind you.
there it is.
Great, thanks. So this is the little mini guy, and the reason this is, what does it say here? 350 mils. So this is really good for a few reasons. First of all, it's comfortable to use. It's sort of more ergonomic because it's nicely counterweighted. The next thing I'll say about this is, if you're making up like a product on demand and you don't want to use a ton of product, this is just a good little mini thing that you can grab. And sorry for reaching, but it's also designed to fit easily into a cleaning caddy. Thank you. So, just another thing, like sometimes when you put tall products in, they topple around. So you can get a nice small one that fits into a cleaning caddy. Anyway, I actually use this one for leave-in conditioner for my daughter. She has her mom's hair, so it's quite tangly. I put a couple squirts of conditioner in here and then water and shake it up. No need to go out and buy an expensive detangler for your child, by the way, because that's all it is. It's just conditioner and water. And we keep this in the bathroom for her. Oh, getting a little hot there?
Just a bit.
Okay. So anyway, those are the spray bottles. We have a combo pack that has one of each. And then sell them in singles, or how are they packaged?
Singles and a combo pack. So
Right.
22 ounce, 12 ounce, and one of each.
That is great. All right. So, you can, another thing that I really love is using this with the maker's mop. So I don't like using a bucket when I mop. I just have a pile of clean mop pads, and then I change them out and I spray product on the floor. So we can kind of demonstrate. We have, essentially 3 different flooring surfaces here, but basically this is what I use. And essentially I use a very similar recipe. We also have a 50 DIY cleaners ebook. Ronita and Lucas can get that linked for you in the description if you want to check that out, because we're all about the DIY cleaners over here. So as I said, what I use most of the time is just this, just soap and water, pretty easy, pretty chill. And let's talk through some cleaning techniques for some different floors or surfaces rather. So this is a ceramic tile. We've got just some general kind of adhesive mess on there, like construction type stuff. We've got some dirt on there because it's been living in our basement.
And that's legit. That's been like a year's worth of it.
I didn't have to use a blow dryer to harden that on there, like I had to do with the jam and the ketchup. And then we have the jam and the ketchup, of course. So when I'm cleaning this floor, I would simply grab the maker's mop and I would use nothing more than soap and water. Now, in the event that your floors are a little more dirty, what you could do is you could add, Chad, would you mind grabbing the vinegar for me?
Sure.
Thank you. You can add, it's right here. You can add vinegar. He was just about to walk in front of the camera. You can do equal parts water and white vinegar, and then you can add the same amount of dish soap. All right, so it's just a squirt. It's like half a teaspoon, and you might be thinking, why do I need so little product? And the reason is because when you use more dish soap, a floor can become sticky, especially if you're not doing a rinse after a wipe. So a rinse in this case would be like a separate spray bottle just filled with water, a clean mop pad, and just going over whatever work you've done with that just to rinse, quote unquote, the floor. If you're not doing a rinse wipe, you don't want to overuse product, because if you do, the floor is going to be sticky underfoot, and that's going to start to attract dirt, and your floor is actually going to look dirtier faster. Okay, so if you approach a floor and you see, oh my gosh, there's like a little bit of buildup. What even is that? I don't even know. I always start with the easiest and simplest. So I know that this soap and water is going to work the majority of the time. So I'm just going to spray that onto the surface. And generally, I let it sit. I got time. Honestly, if I don't have to scrub it, if I don't have to work as hard, I got all the time in the world. And why should I have to work any harder if my cleaning product can do the job for me? Now, if this were to be a surface and there was a raised question mark stain, we don't know what it is, you could use a product or a tool, I should say, like the scrub square to remove it. And remember, you've got products, you've got tools, you've got techniques. So you have to combine the three to figure out the easiest way for you to get the job done in the least amount of time with the least amount of effort. So Chad, can you grab the baking soda, please? What I might do in this situation is I might sprinkle a little bit of baking soda. So when I say a little bit of baking soda, I really mean, like, you know, when they say a pinch of salt, like if you're making soup or something, I mean like a pinch of baking soda. Like I want you to see what's in my hand. It's like next to nothing because that's really all you need. And then you're going to salt bay this, like you're just going to mildly sprinkle it on. Literally, you do not need a lot. And I have a feeling, I'm not going to sing on this live stream. I feel like the views would go to 0 immediately. Chad's going to zoom in on this. So we're doing this for the first time. We don't know. So what I've done is I've given it a clean. It's not coming off. So what this tells me is it's an adhesive. So I can't even get that off with a product. But if we repeat the process and we try it over here on what we do know is dirt, like Chad, I don't know if you can get like a super tight close up, but that's like glue. But for this, I would probably use a scraper. And that's the rule. If the product that you're using doesn't work, then you want to level up. You don't want to keep scrubbing and wasting your time and working harder. Like I can tell right away, not going to work. So I got better things to do with my time. I'm not going to waste my time on that. And again, I can use baking soda on this surface because this surface can handle baking soda. All right. But if I were to use baking soda, say on hardwood, that wouldn't be a good idea because an abrasive is not something that you would want to use on a hard floor surface. So I'll just let that sit for a minute. But essentially what I might do instead of using my microfiber cloth is I might choose to level up to a different tool so that I get a better result faster. So in this case, I'm looking at that and I'll say, I'll use the scrub square. And this is what I want you to think about when you're cleaning. I want you to approach every cleaning job with, I'm going to start low. I'm going to use the easiest, least expensive, quickest solution I can find. I'm going to test it. If it works, great. My job is done here. And if it doesn't, I'm going to level up immediately. I'm not going to spray it again with the same stuff, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That is your equation for insanity. I'm not insane. I'm not cleaning like an insane person. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my scrub square. And I don't know, Chad, if you want to like do a little zoom in action on this.
We're good.
Yeah, you guys can see. Okay, so I'm going to just gently scrub this. Oh boy. This tile, there's some more adhesive, but you can see all of the surrounding stuff has come off so easily. And that's thanks to that simple solution of dish soap and baking soda. And what's so nice about the scrub square is I can flip it over immediately and wipe it clean. And Chad, if you get a close up, you can actually see the difference of the surface right there. So that's just a little demo that I wanted to show you on how the scrub square works, on how the general purpose cloths work. And then I just want to talk through, just when it comes to the general purpose cloth, one of the reasons why we love it so much is because of how thick it is and how absorbent it is. So a way that you can tell if your microfiber cloth is good quality is you can hold it up to the light. So I'm going to hold it up for you to see here in the camera. You can't see through it. Chad, can you find one of the kind of cheapy microfiber cloths that we have? Because I want to see if I can do a little demo here with the light. And this is really how you can understand the quality. It's also a lovely size. You've got a little bit of baking soda down there from the cleaning that we did. And the reason the size is good is because when we clean, we should be cleaning using all 8 sides of a cloth. So we've got side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4. And then because we have a thick microfiber cloth, we can turn it inside out, fold it in quarters, and repeat. So microfiber cloths really do save you time and help get the job done well. These are also, when you look at the microfiber cloths that are available on the market, it's really hard to, find one that's top quality. So when we converse with our factory, we are insistent that they are at least 350 GSM. So that might not mean a lot. I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't mean a lot to most people, but it means a lot to us because GSM means weight. So the thickness of the cloth. Like when we get our cloth, we have a little food scale here, like a digital scale. We get it out, we put on the scale, we weigh it, we make sure that our cloths, the math works out. Thank you.
In the package.
All right. So, all right. So thanks, Chad. So this one, you can see this one we got from the dollar store. And first of all, it's quite stretchy. Like, I don't even know what material this is. It feels clingy like microfiber. Actually, Chad, what would be helpful if you held up the light so that folks could see.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay.
Okay. That one's not good.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see.
Oh, you know what? I should be using white light. Hold on for 1 second.
All right, we'll do that demo in just a sec, but I do want to show you that demo because I think it's a really meaningful one. Anyway, I want to get back to some of your questions. All righty, where did I leave off? I think, I left off with you, Jill. So Jill asks, what's the best way to whiten sneakers? The rubber sole. My son uses baking soda. Oh my gosh. So I'm such a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. Actually, we all do. All of us here. We're obsessed. I've done a lot of sneaker cleaning videos over the years. So I'm going to tell you a few things, Jill, that I like. I like a good cleaning toothbrush. Now, sometimes I find the cleaning toothbrush doesn't offer a stiff enough bristle. So you can go online and you can find a cleaning tool with a stiffer bristle, like slightly stiffer nylon bristle. And that's really good to help kind of penetrate the rubber and really get to some of the messes. Some people will use magic erasers. They swear by them, which can work. There's a product that you can get on Amazon called Shoe Magic. Love that. Detergent. You can try mixed in a bowl of water. You can, dip in a cloth, dip in a little scrub brush, kind of scrub this little clean. You can also use some dish soap and you can do the same thing. Another thing you can try is putting a little pinch of baking soda onto the sole and kind of scrub any of those dirty areas. So I hope that helps. That's what I do. I actually have quite a few videos in Instagram Reels on how to do that. So you can check that out if you want like a visual for it. Danielle says, how do you dust wood that is old textured so that the rags don't catch? And we have really high wood ceilings that have inch gaps between the wood pieces that collect dust. Wow. Okay. First of all, that sounds beautiful. Second, I understand. So actually this table that we're on is a pretty old piece of wood. So if it's an unfinished wood, I don't like using microfiber on it because you can get splinters in the microfiber cloth. So you don't want to deal with that. In your case, I also wouldn't recommend a lamb's wool duster. So you might be wondering, like, what's a lamb's wool duster? It's literally, it looks like a giant cotton swab. Okay, it's really weird, but sometimes it gets used in the cleaning industry. So I wouldn't recommend that either because, again, it's going to catch things. I think in your case, the best thing you can use, and I can't even believe I'm going to recommend this, but it's an ostrich feather duster. Because you need to shake the dust out without worrying about anything getting caught. So, like, I don't even have an ostrich feather duster. I had one when I first started the business, but I haven't used one in years. But that's also because I haven't encountered anything quite like what you're talking about. But that is indeed the tool that I would recommend. So I hope that helps you, Danielle. Marisha Baldwin says, I'm trying to figure out how to get blood out of sheets. Any tips? Yeah, okay. I mean, I've been there. So you want to use hydrogen peroxide immediately when the blood stain hits, as soon as you notice it. Hydrogen peroxide, cold water, give it a good rinse. That's going to help. Next, I would treat it in hydrogen peroxide. I'd let it soak for a little bit, and then I would launder it as usual. You're going to use cold water, and you're going to repeat that. You can also do an OxyClean soak. So what you want to do here is you want to dissolve the appropriate amount of OxyClean in hot water, okay? Because you need to get those bubbles. You're only going to get them with hot water. Then you're going to add that to cold water. You're going to soak the sheets, and you're going to let that sit for a while, a night. Then you're going to launder them. You might have to repeat it a few times. That's how you get blood stains out. Another product that's really good for removing blood stains that you can try is Puracy Natural Stain Remover, which is that enzyme-based stain remover that I was talking about that I love. So you can give that a try. Marisha also says, do you have any suggestions for finding a home cleaning company? I wish you were in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I've heard really good things about Atlanta. I kind of wish I was there too. The best way to find a cleaning company is word of mouth. So ask people who you trust, spy on your neighbors. So if, you know, for example, like I know when my next door neighbor, hi Sam, if you're watching, I know when her house gets cleaned because I see when her cleaning team pulls up, right? So if I needed a cleaner, I might just like stalk the cleaner on that day and be like, hey, you want another client? So you can also keep an eye out. As someone who owns a cleaning business, nothing is more beautiful than when a neighbor sees us and wants us to clean there. Because think about it, for us, from an efficiency standpoint, there's zero travel time, right? What a delight, like to clean your house in the morning and a neighbor in the afternoon. So yeah, just use your street as a first point of reference and see if you can go from there. Wow, we got a $4.99 donation from Silver's 7139 Bloobs. Thank you. That's really nice. Thanks. Gabriella Steinlich says, do you have any tips or hacks on cleaning luxury vinyl planks with grooves, like real wood? I sleep and mop. Oh my God. I wish I slept and mopped too. I sweep and mop regularly, but the socks are still coming out stained even after a mopping. Oh my gosh. I feel you. I completely understand. Like you feel horrified when you look at the bottom of your feet or socks and you're like, but I just cleaned the floor. I totally get it. Okay. Chad.
Yeah.
Come on over here. You are going to do a demo on our luxury vinyl. So Chad's putting on gloves. Or I guess he wants to really protect himself.
We'll also show off the new gloves that we have too.
Thank you. Okay, those look great. Can you get the luxury vinyl plank, please? So, Gabriella, this is the floor that we have here in the basement, and I just want to show you, just see if you can really get up close with the texture, Chad. Like, if you can hear my finger, there is grooves on it. So I want you to know I have the exact floor that you're talking about. It is designed to look like wood. Now, Chad, if you can hold this up to the camera, this is the flooring we have upstairs, and it also has those grooves. It's not a smooth wood floor. So I completely understand what you're dealing with. In your case, Gabriella, what you want to do is, again, you want to do that sandwich method where you want to make sure that any floor, this actually goes for any floor that you're cleaning, that you vacuum or sweep first. You got to get rid of all of the dust and dirt on that floor before any moisture hits it. So I want you to think about it. Like, let's say you've got dirt on a floor and you add water to it. Well, what are you going to do? You're smearing that dirt around, right? So the dirt that's dry, you want to get rid of. And then anything that remains, that's what you're mopping, okay? Or any of the oil or the grease that, you know, comes off the bottom of your feet or things that have spilled. You can also use that opportunity. Like, let's say you've got the vinyl plank floor, right? You can also use this as an opportunity to pre-treat it. And again, you know, I'm using just my dish soap and water. Now on this surface, this is when you might want to consider using a bit of vinegar, a bit of rubbing alcohol, if you're using, you know, a DIY product. And again, in our ebook, we have a recipe for cleaning this type of flooring. But let's say like we've got this ketchup stain here. The best thing I can do is just sort of pre-treat it. Just let that sit for a minute so I can kind of do a visual. Chad, you can place that down. Let's just find a little home for that. And then can you grab a maker's mop, make it as short as possible. Yeah, and we've got our heavy duty pad on there. Yeah. So it's at this point, and I think the key here is the pre-treating. If it's a super heavy duty stain, like the marmalade, right, we'd want to pre-treat, and I wouldn't want to use my mop on that because then I'm just going to be smearing the mess around everywhere else. So that's when what I might do is take an old microfiber cloth that I have kicking around, and I might throw that on the bottom of my mop, or I might just bend down and give whatever it is just a quick wipe just to get rid of the mess if the mess still exists. And that's why, you know, pre-treating and letting stuff sit is so important because it gives you the opportunity to be lazy. So you want to get rid of any of that buildup. And also that's another case for cleaning up spills as they happen instead of just letting them dry. But that's what you'd want to do. You'd want to use a gentle product like soapy water. I think another issue might be if you're overusing product. So even if you're using a dilutable floor cleaner like Mr. Clean or Fabuloso, like any of those products that people use, you know, that's kind of why people get sticky floors if they use too much of that stuff. So I know it seems a little sacrilegious to use so little product, but at the end of the day, it's just really nice to not have sticky floors after. The other thing you can try is doing a rinse. So once you've done your mopping, you can go over the area with just a pad and a spray bottle filled with water and sort of rinse the floors. I think if you try that, it'll make a difference, Gabriella. So good luck with that. Okay. Brittany Phelan says, I have old wood floors that I've been trying to keep clean. The finish is worn off, and it never feels clean, even after sweeping, vacuuming, and mopping. Any tips to clean it? Yeah, so old wooden floors. So, you know, we've got sort of a new version of floors here. Chad's going to just start cleaning that. You know, they have a varnish on them, a shine. And one great way that you can tell if a floor is varnished or not is just to add a little bit of water onto it. And I'll actually demonstrate this for you because the table that I'm working on is not a varnished table. So right here, I'm going to spray some water and you'll see that the water is going to absorb into the wood. Whereas if I spray water here, it beads on top. It sits on the surface. It's not going to absorb into the wood. So there's a big difference, right? The way I'm cleaning this surface is totally different than the way I'm cleaning this surface. What I might do occasionally is give it a good scrub. So I did this the other day with my cutting board. I actually added just a squirt of dish soap wherever my dish soap ended up to a scrub square, wherever my scrub square ended up. And I just started scrubbing the surface. Thanks, it's all good. Thank you. I just wanted to hold it up. I just started scrubbing the surface. I let it dry. And then what I ended up doing, and you might find this useful as well, is once it dried, I applied like an oil to it. So it was a cutting board. So I have like a cutting board product that I use, which I actually bought from the small maker of the cutting board. It's not something that I like bought online or anything. But I think what you can do is you can consider applying a varnish if that is something that is important to you. If it's not, and you can live with the floors, I just want you to know that that is like a style. People live with that and they're okay with it. So if you're okay with it, you're not doing anything wrong. You just keep mopping, you keep doing your thing. Those floors do feel dirty because they're old. If it really bothers you, you can refinish the floors and add a varnish. All right. Let's see here. Chris says, Melissa, I have wall to wall carpet throughout my living room, hallway, and bedroom and stairs. My carpets need to be cleaned, and just thinking about it makes me cringe. Any advice would be helpful. Yeah, so Chris, what I would recommend again is that Bissell Crosswave product. It is It's really disgusting when you do the vacuum. It's like whenever someone tries a Dyson vacuum for the first time and they vacuum and they're like, oh my God, I cannot believe what just came up in this vacuum, and they have to keep emptying the canister because it's so dirty. Yeah, that's the difference between using a good vacuum and like a not good vacuum. But if your carpets are actually dirty, like need a good heavy duty cleaning, I love that product, like Abyssal Crosswave, amazing. So you're going to get that liquid, you're going to fill up the bin, you're going to use the vacuum per the instructions. Remember, you have to apply the product first, and then you have to repeat to suck everything up. So you're going to have to do 2 passes per section. And then you can keep up with that, once every 6 months, once a year, once every quarter. You might even be able to find one for sale on Facebook. You might even find one that a friend or a family member already has. Now, another thing that you can do on a regular basis is just vacuum. I know it sounds simple, but vacuuming really helps maintain a carpet. And if you notice that the areas between the carpet and the baseboards are starting to get really dirty, well, you can use a crevice tool or a little brush tool to kind of get in and dig into those dirty areas. Don Fournier says, what is the best cleaner for wood cabinets? So I really like, if it's just a regular situation, again, my soapy water is awesome. If you notice that the wood cabinets are sticky, they have fingerprints, they're building up, you just can't get rid of them, you can use an enzyme cleaner. So if you're in the US, something like a BioClean back out is great for this. If you're in Canada or somewhere else, you can look for a product like Crud Cutter, a product like Pink Solution. There are lots of different options for this type of cleaner, but that's what you want. You want an enzyme-based cleaner. Berlina Davis says, working in an area that's almost hoarder status, several people's stuff in it, it's overwhelming. Where do I start? Or what's the best way to deal with it? Yeah, so if it's almost hoarder status, I mean, that is tough. There's a lot going on there. If you are the company, I don't know if you're the person in charge of cleaning that. If you are, then we can talk about that. But if you're not, you might even want to bring in a professional. You can start by renting a bin, like a garbage bin, and you would just have to start going through the garbage, throwing things out. There are those sort of hardcore decluttering, cleaning YouTube channels, TikTok, Instagram accounts. That's not the type of work that we do. And part of the reason is, I understand what you're saying. It is very overwhelming and it's hard to know where to start. You have to start room by room. You have to suit up, glove up, wear your PPE, and you have to be prepared to throw a lot of things out. And then once you can get the space emptied into baseline, that's when you have to start the heavy duty cleaning. And that's when you're going to need, just start all the way up top when it comes to the strength of the products and the tools that you're using. You can't use stuff like soap and water and a scrub square. Like, you're going to need heavy duty scrub brushes. You're going to need heavy duty degreasers and like janitorial supplies. All right, Chad just cleaned a piece of MDF. What was your technique there?
Set it and forget it. I mean, basically the product did all the work.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that's really great about microfiber is it doesn't leave any streaks behind, and that's due to its absorbency. So when we use not great quality cloth, and we can probably do this demo here, Chad, if you want to spray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Chad's going to spray the ketchup and the marmalade here on this tile. You can just be really generous and spray the whole tile. Okay, so we already know we're not going to get these 3 adhesive marks off because that is like construction level stuff right there. But we're going to leave this for a minute, and I want to do like a bit of a patch test. So I want you to use the dollar store cloth, and then I want you to compare it to this cloth, and we're going to see the results. Now, my prediction, which I know is going to be right, I'm not usually that I'm right person. Yes, maybe I am. But I know I'm right because I know that this cloth can't do the same thing. First of all, the thickness is totally different, right? The size is totally different. Like, look how much smaller this one is comparatively, right? the weight of the cloth is totally different, which I know you can't experience, but I can. And then again, like, I just want to bring back, like, this is stretchy. It's like, I don't even know what material we're dealing with here. Ours doesn't really have any give, and it's much thicker. This one's also quite dirty already, but I have every ounce of faith that it's going to be able to do its thing. And when we're done, we're not going to see a lot left behind from this cloth. If anything, we shouldn't see any streaks, any marks. With this, we'll probably see streaks. So I guess Chad isn't okay.
A reliable light. I could
Okay.
drag one of these on, but
All
I'm
right.
trying to find something.
So why don't you do this, Chad?
Let's do this first.
Why don't you take care of, what do you think's the more challenging stain here, ketchup or marmalade?
In this case, the ketchup.
Okay, so we're gonna put our cloth to the test with the ketchup, and we're
Okay.
gonna say the marmalade shouldn't be so hard. So I want you to clean this half with that cloth. So you're just gonna S pattern
Yeah,
toward the camera.
yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead.
So I'm only cleaning half of it.
Oh, so you're gonna like clean this half
Yeah.
with that cloth, just doing the S pattern that way.
Okay. Just doing this one.
Yeah, and you're gonna remove that ketchup stain.
No problem. And a few others.
Right, and then we're gonna do this for this section.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So that's going to be really hard to see, but there indeed is several deposits left behind from the marmalade, which I'm assuming, with my knowledge of light, that no one is going to be able to see. So,
But the ketchup, like, so when I touch it, this is totally dry. This is totally dry, and this is wet and sticky from the marmalade. So yeah, you can totally tell.
I have an idea.
Let's see how Chad's going to translate this into a live event. But anyway, it felt sticky and different with the lower quality cloth. All right. Melody Hinson says, what is a good way to clean a juicer or Vitamix? Thanks. Love your channel. Oh my gosh. So a blender, really easy. When I finish making a smoothie, I just add about 3 cups of water, a squirt of dish soap, and I throw it on blend, and then I rinse it and it's done. So that's the trick that I use. A juicer is a lot of work to clean, and that's one of the reasons why I got rid of my juicer. I didn't have the time or the patience to clean it. Some juicer components are dishwasher safe. If that is your juicer, then put the components in the dishwasher. The thing that you want to do is get like a little scrub brush that you can use to clean out the mesh areas and any of those fine areas where you can get kind of crusty stuff stuck if you don't tackle it quick enough. And I also think just having a solution of soapy water as soon as you're done using the juicer, give the receptacle where all of the fibrous material is kept, give that a dump out and a rinse. You can treat that with the soapy water, and then any of the inner components, the metal parts and whatnot, scrub it out, but spray it, pre-treat it so that that stuff doesn't have time to cake on and dry. Trisha Hyman says, just logged on. What essential oil can you put with rubbing alcohol? Literally any essential oil, anyone that you like the smell of. So the common ones that we talk about for cleaning are tea tree, eucalyptus, lavender, peppermint, lime, lemon, rosemary, orange, tangerine. Oh my gosh, the opportunities are endless. All right, Beth says, I have a stone pebble shower base. It's natural stone. What do I use to clean this? There's a lot of soap buildup, so the natural ingredients I tried don't remove the scum. Yeah, so this is a tough one. So again, we're kind of thinking of our cleaning trifecta. We've got our products, our tools, and our techniques. So when it comes to products, we have to be careful. We can't use anything acidic like a vinegar, which would be fantastic in this situation, but we can't use it. The next thing is we can think about our tools. So rather than using something like a sponge or even a scrub square, I would use like an iron handle brush or a heavy duty scrub brush of some sort. And this is going to be really important because you've got that buildup. Now, the way that I would recommend tackling this is by using, and this might sound strange, but you can try using dish soap to get rid of this. And you can add a little bit of baking soda and you can test this out and you can see how the floor does with this solution. So don't use it all over the place to start. Just test it in a small area and scrub, scrub, scrub. Now, the other thing you can do is you can go to a big box store like Home Depot and you can find a specialty stone cleaner. This should help. You say that there's a lot of soap scum buildup, so the natural ingredients you're trying, they aren't really successful at removing the scum. So if you try the dish soap and the baking soda and the scrub brush and it's not successful, then I would say that you can go and try like a proper natural stone cleaner and see how that does. Joe Hernandez says, I'm trying to buy a steamer for my vinyl plank floor. What do you recommend? I don't recommend a steamer for your vinyl plank floor. So there you go. It saves you a bit of money. I always want you to remember that the companies that are selling the cleaning tools, their values aren't aligned with the companies that are selling the finishes. So whomever manufactured my floor is going to tell me the best way to clean my floor. The company that's making a steam cleaner is going to tell you that it's safe to use on the floor because at the end of the day, they don't have to live with the floor. Their job is just to sell more steam cleaners, right? So Joe, that's why I would say don't do it. Just use a regular mop. And that's that, honestly. All right. And I've spoken to a lot of people about this. My cleaning expert consort, and they're all in agreement. So I just want you to know that. Aiko says, what is the best way to clean light colored sofas? So I would use a microfiber cloth. I would use a product called leather CPR. CPR, like, you know, when you're, God forbid, when you're reviving someone. You can get leather CPR on Amazon, or you can find it in store. It's kind of like a hand cream type situation. You basically apply it to your microfiber cloth, and then you can sort of buff it into the surface, like into the leather surface. You might want to leave it for a minute. And if you're going to do that, like if you're going to sort of leave it for a moment and then wipe it off after, I'd apply it with a sponge, a clean sponge. And I would use like one of those cheapy dollar store foamy sponges, like the soft ones. So I would apply it on with the sponge. That way it doesn't absorb into the cloth, because remember, our cloths are very absorbent. You would apply it onto the surface. You would give it a few minutes. Then you would take a microfiber cloth and you would buff it in. If you just wanted to buff the surface, you can just take some on a cloth, buff it, and you're done. But that's how I would clean it. That product is designed to sort of melt away any stains that are on leather, and then buff it off and leave it with a nice consistent shine. So I hope that that helps. All right. Well, we have about 20 minutes left. And I'm seeing, my goodness, there are so many questions here. That is really, really something.
Would you like to give this a try? I think it might work.
Go right ahead.
So this was the dollar store cloth that you opened up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is a globe light. And if I were to put it on top, I'm hoping that the camera picks up that you can clearly see light through it.
Okay.
And if you were to take, I picked a very similar color.
Yeah.
And I picked a cleaner one so I didn't have any jam or ketchup on it.
Yeah.
And if I were to pop this on top, I'm confident no matter how I angle this, you will not see any light at all.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really quick way to talk about the quality of a microfiber cloth.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let me see. All right. I see a question here about microplastics. And, you know, this is an interesting topic. It's one that we talk about a lot here internally. And the thing you have to know about microplastics is that they're in everything. So microfiber has sort of a bad rap just because of its name. And because, you know, when they talk about microfiber or microplastics, it's like the same name. These cloths are called microfiber cloths, but doesn't mean that they shed a ton of microplastics or microfibers. In our research, and we've done this extensively, we have learned that microfiber cloths shed very little as compared to your yoga pants or your leggings or your athleisure, your clothing, other household textiles and things that you have. So I just want to be clear, like it's a tough conversation because it's so long, so detailed. You need a lot of studies and resources to back you up. But I do want you to know that we've looked into this and there isn't a technology. Like we've even looked into the recycled water bottle claims and like even that is just marketing. So that's why we haven't pursued that because it's like, quite frankly, it's not the most sensible option. So we do a lot of research and work behind the scenes that we don't necessarily talk about, but it is the environment and that, you know, making good choices is very important to us. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly without getting too much further into detail. Sarah Diaz asked about cleaning a granite shower, and I want to point back to the question that I just recently answered about the natural stone floor, the pebble stone floor. It's the same thing. You would want to use sort of the dish soap, like a heavy duty dish soap. You know, you can even try a product like the Dawn Platinum, like the one that comes in sort of the ketchup squeezy bottle looking thing. You can try that. Very heavy duty. It's a surfactant. It should help. You can add a little bit of baking soda and see if that helps and if that's safe to use on your particular surface. And if not, I would go and I would pick up a natural stone cleaner at a big box store. So Soul Survivor says, I don't want to use a Swiffer tool on clear glass kitchen pendants, and I can't get on the island to clean it. I need a very long-handled cleaning tool that is delicate and skinny enough. Ideas, please. So yeah, you can consider, like, Chad, can you grab the mop there?
Mhm.
When you're cleaning glass pendants, I think one thing that folks forget, can you shorten it?
Mhm.
Thank you. One thing that folks forget is to use to clean when the lights are off and that the lights have had an opportunity to cool. Because if you use any product, you're going to bust that light. So you want to be careful with that. So something that you can do is you can take any mop pole that you have and you can make, I know Halloween is coming, like a little cleaning ghost. And so what I would do in your case is I wouldn't, I know this kind of sounds funny, but I wouldn't make the ghost so tight to the tip of the mop pole. I would sort of make it looser like this. So you have a bit of give. And then I would use that as my high duster to get onto the pendant. And that's going to be delicate enough, but it's also going to be thorough, especially if you can't reach it and hold it. The ideal way to do that job is indeed to hold the pendant and support it with one hand and then clean it gently with another. And in fact, you could also use a product like the Kermit on the top of a mop pole and sort of just secure it with an elastic. And this would get you very similar results, great results. Alrighty, we talked about scrub square. I called this Kermit, but it's really not called Kermit. It's just what we call it internally. We call it the washing and dusting mitt, which is way less fun than Kermit, but between you and I, we can just call it Kermit, okay? Our waffle weave, I did want to quickly point out, this is one of our most famous cloths that we sell, our beautiful waffle weave. And some people are like, what the heck? It's so big. And the reason it's big is because when you're doing work in the kitchen, whether you're cooking or cleaning pots or whatever it is, those little teeny tiny tea towels, they get very wet very quickly and you can't use them to dry a lot of things. So when we made our tea towels, our dish towels, we were like, we're going to make them huge. That way you can like dry a lot of pots with them and they're not going to get soaking in 2 seconds. So these are fast drying, but also they're giant, and some people use them for their hair. Some people use them for bathing their toddlers. Some people use them for cleaning their dog's paws. There are so many different uses for waffle weave. But I did want to show you that they come in this new gorgeous color. We call this color slate or carbon?
Carbon.
Carbon. We call this color carbon. This is slate. We have a lot of colors to keep track of. So it previously came in this color glacier. This was actually the first color that we had. Oh, it's not called glacier.
It is called
It
glacier.
is. Slate is out of stock.
It is
Slate.
glacier. Okay, and then this one is slate.
Yeah,
Sorry, this is so embarrassing. We just have so many colors and it's hard for me to keep track. And this one's out of stock currently, this color. Okay, so anyway, these are the 3 colors. You should know they're gorgeous. And we always keep kitchen decor in mind. So we always want to balance what's going to look beautiful in your kitchen and what's going to be functional. So we know that this is sort of a trendy color in the kitchen these days. Like a lot of people are doing navies. If not, they're doing kind of white and gold and natural wood, and this works really well with that as well. But I can tell you, literally every single friend and family member, when they come over, they're like, hey, do you have any more of those waffle weaves that I can get my hands on? And actually, I started golfing this summer. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you've seen all of my little golf photos. And I use one of these for my golf clubs. So there you go. Another thing that we've come out with that we're really proud of recently would be our napkins. And you can see comparatively, we still have our beautiful waffle weave that we just absolutely love, but we decided to use a different type of waffle weave, a different type of pocket. So actually, Chad, it might be easier if you hold this up to the camera. So on our napkin, you'll see that we have a larger weave. Can you actually just bring it a little closer? So we have a larger weave and it's flatter. And then here on the waffle weave towel, it's got a deeper and smaller pocket, which means this is more absorbent. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
And the napkin is flatter and just a more comfortable texture because obviously it's going to be on your face, on your hands, on your lap. And it really looks beautiful on a table. At our website at makersclean.com, we have some photos that we took at an absolutely stunning house, and we set the table, and the napkins looked so beautiful. They looked super high end. They're very fairly priced. Like, we thought long and hard about what are we going to charge for these, because we want these to be accessible. We want these to be available for folks so that, you know, they can get them. They don't have to, you know, use paper product anymore, and they can get the benefit of microfiber. So, like, for example, the reason why these are awesome is because let's say you're eating and someone spills something. Well, great, you can just throw your napkin down. If you use a linen napkin, like what you get at a restaurant, they're water repellent. So they just spread water around everywhere, right? And obviously they do that because it also repels stains, but that doesn't exactly help you when you're trying to sop up a stain or keep your hands dry. I also like these because, you know, when I'm done dinner, or serving dinner, like I can kind of wipe up any messes that are on the table as well. So it's kind of like a multi-purpose tool. They're also a beautiful dark color, this nice dark gray. And the reason we chose that is so that they don't show stains. They also wash very easily. And the other reason we're obsessed is because they don't wrinkle. So unlike the linen napkins or the cloth napkins that so many people like, they wrinkle up, they look terrible, they show stains, and these just don't do that. They age really well. So I think that's important for you to know. I just want to check out and see what other things I want to cover off before we wrap things up. So we've got our small space kit here, and I think this is a really useful one to talk about. So, Chad, I just want to make sure that I have this correct.
Yes.
I want to get my napkin out of the way. Can you just show me what's in our most updated small space kit?
One of the new colors
Okay.
of the OG cleaning cloth, which is the 16 by 16
Microfiber, like general purpose.
microfiber general purpose, all-purpose cloth.
The original Makers microfiber cleaning cloth.
The
The
original
original
Makers
Makers
microfiber
cleaning
cleaning
cloth.
cloth.
Then we've got this beautiful color. This is sand.
Yes.
And this is our flat weave,
And this
so our
is
glass and electronics
A
cloth.
flat weave glass and
So
electronics.
this is
cloth.
great for cleaning your phone, cleaning your computer, cleaning your mirrors, cleaning your windows.
This I love keeping in my car. This is a mini. I keep this exact color in my car because I love this color.
So it is just a 4x4, a smaller version of our larger OG cloth. And the reason we made this is because there are so many uses for a little microfiber cloth, whether you want to keep it in your purse, your car, your backpack. My sister actually uses these. She's got 2 kids, little kids, and she uses these instead of the napkins, like when the kids are sitting at the table. These are their napkins. She just wets one, so she's constantly cleaning their faces, their clothes, their hands. And then she also keeps these in the bathroom, and she actually uses these to bathe her kids as well.
And the waffle weave towel that you were speaking about earlier, which again is
It's a 2x3 tea towel.
Yes,
And it's just amazing.
it's
You know, another thing I wanted to cover off, and I can't believe that I haven't spoken about this yet, because I can't choose a favorite product, but this would definitely be in my top 3. It is our, let me just grab my stuff here, our luxury, oh God, our luxury face cloths.
I have a
Well,
cloth.
it's okay, don't worry, we'll clean it up. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because this is a product that I brought to the team, and I want you to know there's Chad and Lucas, and then myself and Ronit, who works with us. But at the time when we were developing this product, it was Lindsay, who formerly worked with us and is still a great friend. And Lindsay and I were very strong advocates of having a face cloth that could remove makeup and also help you, whenever you're doing like an at-home skincare treatment or just something that you could use to gently wash your face every day. So before that, I was using, like just your run-of-the-mill washcloth, and it feels like rough on your skin, and it felt uncomfortable and kind of gritty, and would always leave my face a little bit red and never wash nicely, and they got stinky quickly. Like there were lots of downfalls to them. And then we started to notice that there were these remove makeup with just the cloth type cloths that started coming out on the market. And we got curious and we're like, well, what are these all about? So we started to do some investigating, and we learned pretty quickly that you don't want to remove makeup just with a cloth. Even though you can, doesn't mean that you should, because you're still dealing with skin. And I don't know how good this camera is, but you can see I break out. So the last thing I need is a cloth causing me to break out. So what I wanted to show you, and before I even get into my little demo here, I want to show you that I've had this one. I just pulled it out of the dryer before we got here. I've had this in rotation for a couple of years now. I've yet to throw one of these out.
This one's brand new.
And I take my makeup off here. Okay, sure, go ahead. I take my makeup off with these cloths using the technique I'm about to show you. And I also do skincare treatments at home. And this is what it looks like. It's still thick and plush and gorgeous and feels amazing on my skin. And this is what they look like right out of the package. They come in a little package like this. It's a 5-pack. It's an incredible price. It's better to have these than washcloths. I keep a set of 5. I use one a day, then I dry it. I chuck it in my towel laundry bin, and then I launder them once a week. Now, I'll tell you my routine and what I do. In the morning, I just wash my face with water on this cloth. And what's really nice is that I don't even have to dry afterward, because I put water on this cloth, I just wipe my face, and it instantly dries. So there's no moisture left behind. And I can instantly go into the next part of my skincare routine, which is putting toner on. And then after that, I do moisturizer and SPF and a lot goes into looking this good. Okay. But then when I'm taking makeup off, this is what I do. So let's say I've got some lipstick on. Rather than just running this under water, I will start by adding some micellar water, which I've already added to my carpet today for convenience, as you just witnessed. So I have a little bit on the cloth, and I will use that to remove the makeup. Now I have it on my cloth, and you're like, oh my God, the cloth, it has makeup on it. Yeah, guess what? It washes out perfectly. So that's one of the beautiful things about this cloth, because people will go out They'll either use washcloths or they'll use my nemesis disposable face wipes. And this completely replaces disposable face wipes. Now, I demonstrated this to you with lipstick. Following when I remove my makeup, I will then use my face wash. So I'll kind of lather up my face, do the thing. Then I get this wet and I wash my face with the face wash. The great part about this cloth is the size. So then I flip it over and then I get like into my hairline and all the little areas that I probably forgot when I was washing my face. And the cool thing is you can kind of see all your makeup coming up, as you can see on any cloth. And then I give it a good rinse and I dry it. If I'm doing a face treatment at home, it's kind of the same thing. I wash my face, rinse it, wipe, rinse again. So I use one cloth for multiple treatments in a session because, like, let's be honest, if I'm doing self-care, I'm going all in. And then what I do is I put it in the washing machine as is, whether it's waterproof mascara, lipstick, eyeliner, concealer, or whatever the heck else has gone on my face that day, and it comes out in the wash. It is incredible. I wish that every person, we launched these around Christmas when we launched them. And I was like, I really hope that people put these in stocking stuffers because they are the most amazing thing. Like, I've given these to so many people and they're just like, how did I function without them before? Love these face cloths. On that note, because we are getting so close to the end, I just want to have just a quick skim in these comments. Jenny said an amazing comment. I love this, Jenny. I wrap my washed and chopped leafy greens in a Maker's waffle leaf towel and it stays crispy for days. So you know what's really cool about that? You can also do that with paper towel. But guess what? When you do that, your paper towel has to go in the garbage. When you do it with a waffle weave, which by the way, I have done before too, Jenny, it does work like a charm. You can just chuck it in the laundry and do it again. So I love that tip. I do want to remind everybody that if you visit the Makers Clean website, which is available at makersclean.com, we have a sale on today. I'm just going to run through what's on sale once more. We've got our original Makers Cleaning Cloth bulk pack, which is 25 of our OG microfiber cloths, which is our general purpose, the first cloth that we came out with. That's 40% off. We've got our amazing taco shaped Makers mop available at 25% off. Our whole home cleaning bundle at 30% off. That's a great deal. The original Makers Cleaning Cloths 2023 collection 5-pack, which is all of our new colors, the red, the blue, the yellow, the green, and the Merlot. That's 30% off. We've got our large space kit at 25% off. Our luxury face cloth, 20% off. Just my obsession. Our kitchen cleaning kit, 25% off, and our beautiful bathrobe, so cozy, so chic, 20% off. You can also use code YouTube10 to save an additional 10% off all regular priced merchandise. What is Chaz? Oh my God.
That's pretty professional.
That's pretty funny.
Well, that's pretty good, actually. There you go.
That is
10% off.
That was a great pop up there, Chad. Some great editing right there. And you know what? I just want to thank everybody for hanging in and watching this and asking your great questions and putting in your great comments, and just in general for you being here. Like, the 4 of us are here because you're here. So that means a lot to us. And I hope that you found this helpful. I hope I've answered your cleaning questions today with as much detail and honesty that you have come to love and expect from Clean My Space. And if we have another live stream, I would encourage you to come on back. Make sure that you're following us on TikTok. Yeah, we're on TikTok, and I'm working real hard to figure out that algorithm. So come find us there. We're at Clean My Space. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram.
Cleanmyspace.com.
Cleanmyspace.com. What was that, Chad? I think Chad's going through puberty. So you can find us pretty much everywhere. You can, of course, find us here on YouTube too. Just drop a line and say hi, or, you know, just say hi. Just say hi. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And thanks so much for tuning in. All right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.